Have you been finding yourself wide awake at 3 a.m. in the morning, staring at the ceiling and wondering what's wrong? If you're getting older, you're definitely not alone. That middle-of-the-night wake-up is actually super common as we age, and it's not just random or because something's broken in your sleep system. In this video, we're diving into 5 really interesting reasons why so many older folks wake up around 3 a.m. By the end, you might see these wake-ups totally differently. Not as annoying disruptions, but as your body actually communicating with you. We're not just scratching the surface here. We'll look at how your body changes with age, how your sleep patterns shift naturally, and even how your emotional life plays a role in these early morning awakenings. These explanations are rooted in real human experience and what happens to our bodies as we get older. So if you've been popping awake at 3 a.m. and wondering, why me? Then you are in the right place. Stay with me till the end, because what you learn might not only help you sleep better, but also help you understand what's actually happening in your body and mind during this stage of life. Let's get started. Point number 1. Your body makes less sleep hormone. One of the biggest reasons older folks wake up around 3 a.m. is pretty simple. Your body just doesn't make as much melatonin anymore. Melatonin is that important hormone that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. It's basically your body's natural sleep timer. When you were younger, your body probably made plenty of melatonin each night, which is why you could sleep deeply for hours without waking up. But as we age, our bodies naturally start producing less of it. You might still fall asleep just fine at bedtime, especially after a busy day. But by 2 or 3 in the morning, your melatonin levels can drop too low to keep you sleeping soundly. The thing is, this isn't your fault. It's not that you're doing something wrong or that your body is failing you. It's just a natural change that happens with age, like gray hair or reading glasses. What makes this trickier is that older eyes become more sensitive to light, even tiny amounts of light. From a street lamp outside your window, the blinking numbers on your clock, or the glow under your door can further reduce your already declining melatonin and wake you up. Take Harold, for example. He's 72 and always slept great his whole life. But lately, he finds himself wide awake at 3:15 a.m. most nights. He's not anxious or upset. He just feels completely alert, like it's morning already. Once Harold realized this wasn't some personal failure, but a natural age-related change in his melatonin production, he stopped being so hard on himself. He started keeping his bedroom darker, avoiding screens before bed, and taking an evening walk to strengthen his body's natural sleep signals. These small changes help remind his body it's still nighttime. And while he still sometimes wakes up early, he's learned to work with his body instead of fighting it. When you understand that waking up early might just be about this natural change in your sleep chemistry, you can be kinder to yourself and find practical ways to support better sleep. That's the power of knowing what's really going on. Frustration turns into self-compassion, and you can make smarter choices about your nighttime routine. Point number 2. Your internal clock shifts earlier. Another big reason older adults tend to wake up around 3 a.m. is that your body's internal clock naturally shifts forward as you age. Sleep experts call this advanced sleep phase. What does this mean? Well, you might notice yourself getting sleepy earlier in the evening, nodding off during that 9 p.m. TV show, and then waking up at dawn without an alarm, even when you'd love to sleep in. This isn't just a random habit, it's actually deeply rooted in your biology and tends to become more noticeable with each passing year. In your younger years, your body's rhythm probably matched up with later bedtimes and later wake-ups. But as this rhythm shifts forward with age, you might find yourself naturally falling asleep at 8 or 9 p.m. without even trying to. The thing is, if you're falling asleep that early, your body has often gotten its full night's rest by the time 3 a.m. rolls around. That's why you might wake up in the middle of the night feeling completely rested, even though it's still dark outside. This doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means your body is operating on a different schedule now. Think of it like a clock that's been gently reset over the years, ticking a little bit ahead each season. There's also a quieter side to this change that many people don't talk about. As we get older, many of us live in quieter homes or spend more time alone. That peaceful environment actually makes it easier for your body to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant activity and noise that might have once kept you up later, your system starts its nightly shutdown process much sooner. Look at Charles, who's 68 and retired. He usually has dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches some TV, and is in bed by 8:30, asleep by 9. By 3 a.m., his body has had 6 solid hours of sleep and is naturally ready to wake up. He doesn't feel stressed or anxious, just alert. At first, he thought something was wrong with his sleep, but once he learned about this advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It was just on a different schedule now. Charles started making small adjustments to his evening, reading with a warm light after dinner, taking a gentle evening walk, and sometimes calling his daughter for a quick chat before bed. These social and sensory activities help stretch his evening just enough to shift his wake-up time closer to morning, making his sleep pattern better match his daily life. This natural shift in sleep timing is something many older adults experience but few discuss. Understanding it can take away a lot of that midnight guilt or confusion. So if you're waking up around 3 a.m. feeling like you've had a full night's sleep, your body may simply be on an earlier schedule now. And once you know that, you can start shaping your routine in ways that work better for you. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you don't miss our videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires. Now, let's keep going. Point number 3. Physical discomfort and health-related wake-ups. Another common reason older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. has to do with physical discomfort or health issues that seem to surface during those quiet nighttime hours. As we age, we're more likely to develop various aches, pains, or health conditions that can interrupt sleep without making a big fuss. They creep in quietly: a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in your back. And that's often enough to pull you out of deep sleep right in the middle of the night. Take arthritis, for example. Lying in the same position for several hours can become uncomfortable. You might not notice the discomfort when you first fall asleep, but after a few hours, those aches can build up enough to nudge you awake. For others, nighttime heartburn might be the culprit, especially if you've eaten dinner too late or gone to bed soon after eating. Even simple things like dry mouth, leg cramps, or slight changes in room temperature can trigger a wake-up around those early morning hours. One of the most common physical reasons older adults, especially men, wake up at 3 a.m. is needing to use the bathroom. As we age, our bladders become less stretchy, and signals to empty them come faster and more frequently. You might not notice it during the day when you're busy and distracted, but at 3 a.m. in a dark, quiet room, that sensation becomes impossible to ignore. And once you get up and move around, even just to the bathroom, your body often shifts from sleep mode to wake mode, making it harder to drift off again. Medications play a role, too. Many older adults take regular medications for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management. These medications often have side effects that can affect sleep, like making you need to pee more often, changing your body temperature, or making you more sensitive to noises or light. You might not even connect your medicine to your sleep pattern until someone points it out, or you start paying closer attention. Consider Eleanor, who's 76 and has always been a fairly light sleeper. Over the past year, she started waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. After months of thinking it was just getting older, she talked with her doctor and discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration and increasing her nighttime bathroom trips. With her doctor's help, she adjusted when she takes her medicine, made a few lifestyle changes, and now wakes up less often and falls back asleep more easily when she does. The important thing to remember is that these physical wake-ups don't mean your body is failing. They're actually signs that your body is still doing its job by responding to signals and making adjustments. These nighttime interruptions can guide you toward better self-care and more informed choices about your health. Waking at 3 a.m. might feel inconvenient, but it can also be your body's quiet way of asking you to tune in, check in, and make small changes that support better health and deeper rest. Point number 4. Daily habits that shift your sleep pattern. Another powerful but often overlooked reason why older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. comes down to everyday habits. Small routines and choices that over time quietly reshape your sleep pattern. Many older adults naturally begin eating dinner earlier, winding down sooner in the evening, and getting less physical activity during the day. These seemingly minor adjustments add up and can signal to your body that nighttime should begin earlier, which inevitably pushes your wake-up time earlier too. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer gets the same external time cues it once relied on, like commuting, running errands, or tackling physically or mentally challenging tasks. And without those cues, your body's sleep-wake cycle can begin to drift earlier. Also, a calm, dimly lit evening with minimal activity can cause your brain to release melatonin sooner, making you sleepy before you've even realized it's only 8:30 p.m. And once you're asleep earlier, your body simply finishes its rest earlier too, waking you up in those pre-dawn hours around 3 a.m. There's also an interesting connection between when you eat and how you sleep. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes lead to lower blood sugar levels overnight, especially if you don't have a light snack before bed. That dip may not feel like hunger, but it can still rouse you from sleep. Similarly, caffeine consumed even in the early afternoon can linger in your system longer as you age, since your metabolism slows down, subtly lightening your sleep and making you more likely to wake up at the slightest disturbance. Think about someone like Walter, who's 74 and recently retired. These changes crept in gradually for him. His days became less structured, and his evenings more relaxed. He found himself having dinner at 5 p.m., dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without realizing it, his entire daily rhythm had shifted a few hours earlier. Before long, he started waking up around 3:30 a.m., wide awake before the birds even started singing. After thinking about his routine, Walter began making small adjustments, adding a short afternoon walk, reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoiding those after-dinner naps. These changes helped push his natural sleep window just a bit later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that lined up better with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of daily habits. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. As those signals shift or weaken, our internal body clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more broken sleep. But by noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it's possible to gently guide your body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restful and less interrupted. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss our videos. Your support helps us continue creating content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move to our final point. Point number 5. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried by the busyness of daily life can start to surface in the quiet of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is still and distractions are few, often become the time when unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You might find yourself lying awake not because of physical discomfort, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't realize were still with you. This kind of nighttime restlessness is different from the intense anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter and more reflective. It can feel like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name what it is. When not actively engaged in daily tasks, Our minds often reach backward into old relationships, past decisions, losses we've experienced, or words left unsaid. And because our bodies are no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there's room for those thoughts to echo a little louder in the night. Loneliness can play a role here too. For many older adults, social circles naturally shrink with time, children move away, friends become busy or pass on, and routines change. The daytime might be filled with activities and light, but nighttime brings quiet and with it, an awareness of that emotional space. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy or obvious. Sometimes it shows up simply as a desire for connection or a faint longing for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who's 80 and widowed. During the day, she keeps busy tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, and watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts drifting to moments she shared with her late husband, or to worries she keeps tucked away during daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but over time, she came to understand that her early waking wasn't really about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she sometimes writes down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual of listening to gentle music or writing a short note to a friend. These small acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, our hearts don't follow a strict schedule. They remember what they want to remember, ask the questions they need to ask, and sometimes do all this at 3 a.m. when everything else is quiet. But that's not a flaw. That's a sign of depth and humanity. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not just your memories, but your very sense of self. Rather than seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What needs to be given voice? What part of you needs a little extra gentleness, even in the dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a richer understanding of yourself in this stage of life. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in your internal clock? The subtle changes in your health? Or perhaps something deeper? An emotional rhythm that only shows itself when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different perspective for understanding your early morning wake-ups, and none of them point to something broken in you. In fact, they each reveal how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through this stage of life. There's a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to tell you, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Rather than seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as just an annoyance, you might begin to see them as messages, gentle signals reminding you to listen a little more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You're not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own natural rhythms. If you've recognized yourself in any of these reasons today, know that you're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes a chance to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to greet each morning with a bit more understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.